Hey guys, so I wanted to do a quick video of a couple of things. First, I want to do a review of my Kat Von D Saint and Sinner palette. I got this in. I did do a swatch video whenever it's in a haul, but I wanted to use these shades a few times before I did like an actual review of it, and I wanted to that way I had some play with it, and I don't like to just say, oh, this is the best palette ever without actually trying it. That said, I have used pretty much every shade in the palette except for two, at least once. So the only two that I had not used are Exodus, which is that lime green right there, and Relic, which is the gold. And I like them. They do have some kick up. They are very pigmented though. They're beautiful. The only two that I don't particularly care for, and it's just my personal taste, and I have tried both of them out, and one I like more than the other of the two, but I don't particularly care for the two up top. They are pretty much pure glitter, and while that's a great look if that's what you're going for, especially Rapture. Rapture and I did not get along very well. I was thinking it was going to be a glittery pink pigment with glitter in it, but no, it just came off as just pure glitter on me, and it fell everywhere, and I just wasn't impressed with those two in particular. Absolution was better than Rapture, but whatever. But like I said, I have used pretty much everything in this palette at least once. So I like them. There is a little bit of kick up in them, but not massive. No, it's less than my Modern Renaissance, and definitely just from my touch tests at Ulta of the other one. My brain just went blank. It has less kick up than that one, but overall, I love this palette. I think it is beautiful. The pigments are great. The colors are interesting. They're not all colors that you would generally think of together, which made this a lot of fun for me because I have been playing with it and playing with it and playing with it and putting colors together that not generally would go together in other palettes, and I very much have had a good time playing with it, which is a big deal for me. So I did want to do just a quick little review of that. That said, there is a girl that requested me to do an eye look that I had done, and I had posted a picture on my What's Up and Makeup page that I'm on. If you aren't on that, it is the best, and Jen is amazing in her videos, but I definitely had posted a picture saying this is what I did with the palette for one of my looks, and that look is actually going to be the picture that you'll see before you click on this, but I'm going to try to recreate that look. I usually don't do the same thing over and over and over with my looks, so this is going to be interesting. I do remember the shades I used, and I do remember all of that. So first I'm going to pull my hair back, and I'm just going to start from the beginning. I do have pretty much everything on my face right now except eyeshadows. So I'm just going to start from everything from the beginning and work my way through. I have my bag of brushes. This is brushes that I use on a regular. I have other brushes and that's a cleaner thing, but this is just kind of my bag of brushes that I use regularly, and a random lipstick in here. It's an e.l.f. lipstick. These are great, by the way. If you don't have these, you should try them. They're great. They're only a couple dollars, and they're wonderful. Let's see. I need some, where's my brush that I want? Oh yeah, I need my primer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I grabbed a couple of my brushes that I like to use. Put those there. First thing that I always do is I always start out with primer. This is pretty much the only primer I use now. I use the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I always use this. I have hooded eyes, and if I don't use this, then it's going everywhere. So I blend it all the way up to my brow all the way down. Usually I also would put it under my eye, but since I do have other makeup on still, all I did was take off my eyeshadow. So I'm not worried about that right now, but I do usually put it not just on my eyelid. I go underneath here, and I honestly would and I do all of this before I put my foundation on in general. So I actually go onto my nose to help my foundation stay on my nose, because Sister has an oily nose and it gets interesting. Things go sliding around. So I learned that eyeshadow primer helps everything stick a little bit better. So all that is in. I'm just going to be using the mirror from the palette. Hopefully I'll be able to make this to where you can actually see what I'm doing, because I know my camera is horrible and I'm very sorry about that, sweetheart, but here we're gonna do our best here. So the first thing that I do with this palette, and this just works really good for me, I don't know if it would work good for everybody, but I always set my primer. So here's how I do it. Because of there being very limited neutral tones, Amen is almost white. It's very pale. It's this one right here. Very pale. Baptism is more pink. Neither one of them match my skin tone right away, but I've learned if I mix them, it actually does really good to set and do a bit of an under eye highlight, because I never go all the way up anyway. So that actually does exactly what I want it to do. It's not overwhelming, it's not too much of a change, but it is enough, and it does set my primer as well. That's just a me thing, and hopefully, you know, it's a good tip for y'all. I don't know if it will be, but we'll see. So that's the first thing I always do. And these hooded eyes, especially this one, is the devil. Just gonna say. This brush that I just did that with, it's almost clean because it has just that in it. I always set this one to the side for blending out shades that I want a little bit more blended, but I don't want to add any more color. So this one stays within reach at all times. So the next thing, grabbing a couple more blendy brushes. I have a bazillion blendy brushes and I love them. And yes, I said blendy because why not? I need that one. Where's my blue one? Those. Okay, so I have several brushes pulled out, not all of them, but several. Okay, let's get and move on these colors. So it was kind of a brown and red, dark, smoky red. It's hard to explain. So the first thing that I did actually on mine, and this is just a trick for me, I went in with Sabbath, and Sabbath is that super black that I like from her, but literally all I did, I take this little angled brush, it's an angled shader, it's this one, I barely touch it on. I just touch it. Gives you just a little bit of black. I don't want this to be black. So with this one, I just kind of go in on that V. It's really hard to see on camera, I think. But I literally go in my lash line and in that crease and kind of connect them. See, yes, it looks wild. I promise it gets better. But that is what I do first for this one. So right in the crease and right along the lash line. And you don't need a lot, but you do want it to be fairly even, and this is just my first step for it because I want a little bit of depth in those specific areas. Now I'm done with that one. That was just to place some color. So now what I did was I went in with a Crucifix, which is this dark chocolatey brown shade, right there. Went in with that in my crease. And the way that did not close the palette on the shade that I need, I I just tap it in, get just a little bit of color, and then tap it onto that black first and all over that. And that kind of connects the two throughout. That's the first thing that I do. And I do the same thing on this side. Okay. So it gives you this weird, funky look to it. Promise it gets better. I promise. So I did that. Now I kind of tap off any excess on there because I don't want this hard look. I do want to soften it up. So now that I tapped off all the excess, I just kind of blend it into the crease. So it's that chocolate brown and that black, and I just kind of work it through. You can see it's kind of already starting to blend out. These blend beautifully, and you just kind of, and this is just the first layer, second layer, third layer. I use a bunch of shades. My dog's running around behind me, so if you hear his nails, that's what it is. So you see the difference now. And it doesn't have to be perfect yet, because I promise there's going to be more shit happening. So, same thing over here. I don't know what my dog is doing, but she is all over the place back there. I have two dogs. I have a husky and I have a chihuahua, which is the most interesting combination ever in my opinion, but hey, whatever. Big dog and little dog. Okay. Almost done with this eye. This eye is smaller, so it's a lot harder to get everything the way I like it. I have weird eyes. I have a smaller eye and a bigger eye. If you have that same problem, let me know. Okay, so now I have like that darker look. It has the black with the chocolate brown, and it's blended all the way in. No, it still looks a little funky. I promise that's going to change. So the next thing that I did with this one was I went in with Sacred Heart, which is this kind of peachy orange color right here, but it's not really orange, it's just kind of a peach tone. And I put that on my brush and just kind of blend it into the crease and above the crease. And I go fairly high because I do have such hooded eyes that I like to have it over my lashes when my lashes are open. And this is going to kind of soften everything up and give a little bit of color start. I layer a lot of shades, by the way. Same thing on this other side. So that gave me, not you, a little bit of a softer look. Because that's a little darker. Yeah. So that gave me a little bit of a softer, and you can see it here. This look actually is not too long on this. Shouldn't be. So the next step that I did was I used Rosary. And basically the same thing I just did, but I want this color to be the standout color. It is going straight into the crease, and it's going to go over that brown here, and it's going to basically almost be everywhere. So going back in with that, and I do a couple of layers of this because I want this color to be the main shades, and I go all the way across into there. So now we're at that. This camera's horrible, and I'm sorry about that, but hey, you'll see the picture. Rosary. I love this shade Rosary. It's really nice reddish pink without being the red of Stigmata. So that's where we're at now. So now, oh, one thing. When I blend, I kind of go all down here. and I don't mind because I always clean up afterwards, and I do like an under eye thing that I like to do, and it doesn't bother me until I'm done. So the next thing that I'm going to do is actually add a little bit of 1 tap of Double and a tap of Stigmata into it, and do right above the crease, only on this side. And it gives a bit more intenseness for me that I'm looking for. Alright, so that's where we are. We're not done, I promise. While I have this brush out, I'm actually going to go, and yes, I'm using a fluffy for this. I'm going under my eye, right there. And again, there's a method to my madness. And I'm just kind of brushing that little bit of color under my eye too. Since I have this out, I always kind of do things as I have shades in my hand. So now I have that little blendy brush, and I'm going to kind of blend right here, right here, just that. Make sure there's definitely nothing harsh there. Okay, so that's where I'm at. Looks kind of funny, I promise. So the next thing that I did in this original little look thing that I had done for her was I took, oh, I almost dropped it. That would not have been a good thing. I took this, not this one, it's my other one. I swear I have a bazillion little brushes in here. That one. So the next thing that I did was I took this brush. It's I have 2 different flats. I have this one that's thinner and it has kind of a point to it, and then I have this one that's fatter and softer. It's almost blendy, but not a blendy brush. Does that make sense? So from there, I took the darker of the 2 silvers, which is I can't read, Cathedral. I took Cathedral, and I got a good bit of it, and I put it all over my lid. It's a beautiful silver shade. So that's all over my lid now. I do the same thing on the other one. So there is the silver, the dark one. And no, I'm not done. So now I go back with my blue brush that I used for Rosary, and I get a little bit more Rosary, and I blend that to blend that silver in and get that more of that red. I told you I wanted this color to kind of poof. And again, I go very high up because once I have mascara on, my lashes go blue, and it's just the thing. So now I have that. That's where I'm at. This one was kind of an interesting look for me. I don't usually go this dark, but sometimes I do. So the very last thing that I did for this pot was I took Heaven, which is that lighter silver right here, right there, right above Rosary, and I took a little bit of that and I put it just in the center of my lid for kind of a little pop. So you have the dark and then you have the light over top. And yes, I know it looks like it's different on this side. My lighting is kind of wonky. So, sorry. So there's that. Have that little pop of silver, and then I do, without adding any more color, just kind of make sure it's blended into that red that I did. Okay, so I did the red underneath. So the last thing that I did before I put on mascara or anything like that is I took a little bit of that original chocolate brown crucifix, and I have like this itty bitty smudgy brush, and I took just a tiny bit and into my lashes right here on this part. So I had the red and then that. I don't generally wear eyeliner, but I did use it in that other one. So this is where we are. My lighting is ridiculously horrible. Stupid. So I have kind of cleared up for a split second. I don't really know what's happening with this camera. So that now with my under eyes, because I do have a little bit of smudginess from using that round brush, and that's perfectly okay for me because I like using my little round brush. But what I usually will do is take, did I bring it in here? My concealer, wherever it has disappeared to. I think I left it in the other room, maybe. I messed up. But I will take some concealer and kind of clean up. I'm just going to use this little thing. But I kind of clean up underneath and get it less fluffy underneath, I guess you can say. But I'm just kind of straighten it out a little bit. And then all you do, like if you want wings, or you put your wings. If you want more mascara, which I don't really have anything on right now for mascara, but I didn't bring it in here, and I'm not going to go hunt it down. So, as you can tell, I've been on this camera for 22 minutes now, and that gave me enough time to do my entire eye look, and it's great. It blends out really well. I like it. I've been talking a lot, showing you brushes. It doesn't take hardly any time, to be completely honest. I could probably do this in just a few minutes. I like this palette a lot. Blends out beautifully. They mix together without turning money on me. I don't know. I just like it, and I hope y'all have fun with it like I do. Leave me messages if you like it as much as me. Let me know if you like this tutorial. If you want me to do more of them, I will. Why not? But I will talk to y'all another time, and y'all have a good day.